Chapter 5 Talon on Show. Tammy jumped when Hello Kitty squealed. Hello Kitty quickly explained her idea. Why didn't Tammy perform imitations of people at the talent show? She could imitate their teacher, Miss Davy, and their head teacher. Miss Brown, and maybe some of the other pupils like her brother Timmy. Tammy stared at Hello Kitty. Would people really think her silly voice and imitations were funny? Absolutely, Hello Kitty declared. She was sure they would. Tammy would be so good on stage and her imitations always made people laugh. Tammy's eyes sparkled. This was the perfect act for her. She wanted to tell the others straight away. They raced downstairs as soon as everyone heard about Hello Kitty's idea. They all agreed that it was a great idea and Tammy was going to look fantastic on stage in her new party outfit. Tammy was so excited. She was going to be in the talent show after all. But would they help her work out her act and what she was going to say? They all grinned. Definitely. The rest of the sleepover flew by with them all helping Tammy and then performing their own acts for each other. They rehearsed again when they woke up the next morning. Almost before they knew it, it was Saturday evening and time for the contest. They went into school with their parents. There was a big banner over the school entrance which said Talent Show. The parents headed into the hall to sit down while everyone who had entered went to one of the classrooms to get ready. Their names had been written on a whiteboard. In the order they would go on stage, Hello Kitty was on first and Tammy was on last, and the others were in the middle. In the classrooms, everyone was practicing. Miss Davy was overseeing everything. People were getting changed, putting on makeup, turning up musical instruments, singing scales, and warming up for dance routines. On one side of the classroom, Timmy was juggling 5 balls near to the door. Was jiggling 5 balls near to the door. Alice and Minnie were playing their flutes together. A boy from one of the other classrooms had a skateboard with him, and a girl had her dog. It looked like the show was going to be full of talent. The Friendship Club all sat together as they waited. Dear Daniel had his guitar. Hello Kitty and Fifi each had the music for their routines with them. Fifi was dressed in a sparkly green leotard with matching hair ribbon. Hello Kitty had chosen to wear a pink leotard with a tutu and a matching pink leg warmers for her dance and song. Tammy was dressed in her new party outfit. She looked great. Dear Daniel asked her if she was glad she was entering. Tammy nodded and replied that she couldn't wait to get on stage. She hoped people thought she was funny. Suddenly, Miss David clapped her hands and called for silence. She asked them all to bring their things and follow her. They would be sitting at the side of the stage waiting for their turn. They had all followed her to the hall and sat down. The judges, the 3 of the other teachers, were sitting at a table at the side of the stage. The head teacher, Miss Brown, welcomed the audience and wished everyone taking part good luck. She called the first contestant on the stage. It was Hello Kitty. It was time for the show to begin. Hello Kitty barely had a chance to feel nervous. She walked on stage and struck her startling pose. Miss Davy started her music and Hello Kitty started to sing and dance. She loved it. It was so much fun performing one of her favourite songs for everyone. She finished with a perfect spin and then courtesied as everyone clapped loudly. She glanced at the judges. They were smiling too and writing down their marks. Hello Kitty ran off the stage to her seat, and then it was Timmy's turn to show off his juggling skills. Act followed act. Everyone was so good. Dear Daniel's song sounded great. Fifi did some amazing cartwheels and backflips and ended up in splits. Minnie and Alice played the tune Green Sleeves on their flutes, but the other contestants were great too. Timmy had juggled really well without dropping anything. The girl and her dog did a dance, and the boy with the skateboard showed off some cool tricks. Hello Kitty loved every second of it. She realised she didn't care if she won or not. She was just glad to be taking part. At last it was Tammy's turn. When Miss Brown called out Tammy's name, she looked a bit nervous. Hello Kitty squeezed her hand and reassured her she would be brilliant. Fifi and dear Daniel wished her luck. Taking a deep breath, Tammy ran onto the stage. She waited as the audience gradually quietened down, and then she began. She started by pretending to be the head teacher. As soon as she began speaking in Miss Brown's voice, she started to move like her too. She pretended to tell the audience off, and everyone started chuckling. Her nervousness started to drop away. She turned around, pulled a black wig out of her pocket and put it on. Then she turned back to the audience, immediately changing her voice. So she sounded just like Miss Davy. She was amazing. Hello Kitty saw Miss Davy smiling, then Tammy pulled off the wig and put on a pair of glasses to look like their music teacher, and then just kept changing characters as she went on. By the end of her act, the audience were all laughing and clapping. The judges were smiling too. Tammy got a huge round of applause, the biggest of the evening. She ran back to the others, her cheeks pink with happiness. Hello Kitty squeezed her hand. It had been such a great act. She really hoped Tammy would win. The judges stood up and said how astonished they were by all the acts of the talent show. Every one of the contestants should be very proud of themselves, and it had been a very hard to choose between them. But in the end, they had their three winners. They announced the results in reverse order. In third place, Hello Kitty Sunshine Girl. Second place, Chloe and her dancing dog. And first place, Tammy and her irresistible imitations. The audience whooped and cheered as the prize winners all ran on stage. Hello Kitty and Chloe got a small silver shields on wooden plaques. Hello Kitty was delighted with hers. She thanked the judges and then watched proudly as Tammy came up to get the big silver cup and simply enormous box of chocolates tied up with a big blue ribbon. Miss Brown smiled and said that next time she was ill, she would give a Tammy a call and let her keep order in the school. Everyone laughed. Tammy grinned and then had to pose as someone took her photograph for the local paper. With that, the competition was over. Dear Daniel and Fifi raced over to hug Tammy and Hello Kitty. What an amazing result. Only yesterday, Tammy hadn't even thought she was entering the show, and now she had won it. Tammy said it was all thanks to Hello Kitty and the others. She would never have thought of entering her imitations if Hello Kitty hadn't suggested it, and everyone had been so supportive. She thought they should have a new friendship club rule. Good friends help find your hidden talents. They all high-fived each other. It was a perfect new rule for them. Super. Tammy grinned. Now there was just one thing left for the friendship club to help with: eating her chocolates. The end.